terrifying because they have nothing to lose. They use their ultimates in crazy fashion out towards the side of the point, the unexpected shatter, and choose trance, catch Seoul Dynasty off guard. We're going to take a look at Rio's shatter here. As you know, this is the moment where Seoul overextends. There's not enough room there on the shield from Illicit to block that shatter. It only blocks part of it.
It's a nice flick, very necessary to get them. That point, Marvel going into the pit, and Illicit going to be taking him down. So for now, Charge going to be holding on to this one. Good boops to send Marvel out. Now they'll get the stagger onto the enemy Ryan as well. See, just let him swing away. They know that he's already got that Earth Shatter, so him getting a couple hits in isn't going to be benefiting him at all.
No, certainly not. And Jaehong needs that Transcendence. That's, I think, what's going to be the go button here for the Dynasty. They know they have Grab. They know Shu will likely not have Trance. It's going to be close, but he probably won't have it in time. So they can grab and then win the support ultimate fight. That's what they want to do here, but they can't go unless Jaehong has it or is very close to it.
Grab comes in, Happy, just going to be melted down. Jaehong will come up with those kills. I'm not going to find anything but Hoppa. Again, back into the mech. Still man down here for the Guangzhou Charge. Happy just now respawning, going to try to join in. The beat used by Chara. Jaehong matches with a Transcendence. Jack-Sang still far away, so it's going to be defensive ultimate advantage over to the Charge as Shu still holds on to that Transcendence. And he can pretty much feel free to do so, unless a Shatter comes out from Marvel. Flip comes in, however, Seoul Dynasty regained control, and now Charge have to play over onto the point. Rio going to be pushing forward, leading the Charge here. Shatter coming in.
Nice angle.
Through. That's going to be Shu. Can they take him down? Manages to stand back up. The Transcendence comes through. They push forward onto the members of the Seoul Dynasty. The grab coming in. That's going to be instantly 2 kills coming through. Now 3 and 4. The wipe effectively as Jaehong gets cleaned up. The flip coming back in. Charge still in this, but still 20% to go.
And still no trance for the following grab that we will see for Munchkin. And that's the part where the Charge are going to have to take a fight off the point. Very likely going to have to look for a Rio Shatter, or at least the threat of a Shatter to keep Dynasty back. If they can force the grab off the point, there is a way they can hold this. They're backing up though. I don't know if this is the right move. They're going to have to take the fight on the point without that support ultimate. Neither of them online.
Get the tag in, the overtime rolling in. Grab coming out. Rio dives into that one, but he gets taken down. Jaehong again coming up with the kill on the Rhine inside of that grab. On search now, Chara going to be taken out. Munchkin pushing forward, high energy in the bomb from Zumba. Manages to take down Happy. Looking for the pop out onto Hot Buzz Mech. We'll finally find it here at the end. The self-destruct going to be popped. The flip comes back through for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and it will tick away. And that is going to be Dynasty picking up the victory here on Oasis with the 2-0.
It wasn't easy and it wasn't clean. Have to wonder if we'll see substitutions for the Dynasty as we head into Assault.
Or for Charge.
Yeah, potentially. But very close start to our series. Anything could still happen from here.
Yeah, 100-99 in both of those rounds, but Dynasty come out on top. Barely so. Let's see if Charge can even us up when we come back for the next map.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Into the iris.
Огонь по готовности.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. All-Star is a time to flex a bit, and the Atlantic Division's Jonak certainly flexed on Huxl's Genji just after he ulted by landing a crazy sleep dart to stop him in his tracks. Then Jonak capped the play off with a biotic grenade to finish Huxl.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Seoul Dynasty able to start things off with a map win on Oasis. Guangzhou Charge, though, making it rough for them, making it very close in both of those rounds that came through. But we're unable to extend us into a third and final round. Now, just going to be looking to tie things up as we get ready to move into Assault.
Yeah, we are heading into Assault, and it's going to be Paris again. So, no substitutions on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Going to continue with this roster. Once they started playing with Marvel and Munchkin a little bit more together, playing the same style, they looked a lot better at the end of Oasis. And we will have Nero subbed in for Eileen, so he is back. And this is the map where you can see a lot of projectile DPS.
Exactly. I mean, we just got done seeing Bumper play his signature Hanzo on Paris. Didn't go that well, but he played it. But Nero, we know that he is very well versed with that and the Pharah, the Zarya as well to fall back on should they have to go for the 3-3. So we'll see what Guangzhou has prepared for us for this map as we jump back in to the newest face here on stage.
You know, we have to wonder how well Nero will fare on Zarya in the long term, because the initial impression is he's very good at Zarya. And that's always the kind of player you want to have, as a DPS player who's good at multiple types of DPS and then also Zarya, so that when you have to swap composition, you've got a solid backbone in your Zarya to fall back to. And some teams have that, others do not, you know, right now, at least in terms of great Zaryas. So Nero is looking to cement himself in that position, because he will not be able to run projectile DPS the entirety of Paris. It just simply will not happen. So, you know, we're going to get to see him tested at least on the Zarya, but we'll probably see at least a start with projectile DPS as we head to this map where it's so popular. Usually the Pharah is what you're going to see on point A, sometimes the Hanzo as well.
Well, Guangzhou are on defense first as they're moving their way out. Seems like this is going to be the setup. Happy with the Torbjorn. Nero with the Junkrat and Hotfa with the Pharah.
Yeah, kind of unusual to see Happy play the Torbjorn. A really common setup for him in any of the teams he's played on in his history.
Going to be sniping with those left clicks.
Yeah, we'll see.
People down.
Well, this is a different kind of bunker. It's the Orisa Junkrat, but you got the Torbjorn for a crossfire, different line of sight. It will have to be defended. And this may force the Dynasty to play a variation of dive. Illicit can play the Genji, so look out for that to potentially change once they scout this. Munchkin, remember, we talked about his Widow to counter the DPS previously. This time it comes out. You already see the swaps continuing.
Yep, Illicit going to be moving over onto the far end. Jekse going with him with the Mercy. Nice tag. Already Hotba weakens him. Not going to find that kill yet.
Zumba onto the Hanzo. We've seen it before.
Get the drop down there. Okay, nicely done. J-Hong is going to be finishing off that turret. Munchkin desperately trying to get an angle onto this pharmacy comp, but instead Hotba will be able to take him down. The res is there instantly from Jekse. As I say, that seems like he got booped back, interrupted by Hotba even further with a concussive blast. Now he's looking for those direct hits onto Illicit.
Every kill onto the defender is worth 2 on the attack, because the setup is so complicated to remake for the charge here. So if you're killing the Torb, if you're killing the Ana, it takes so much longer to reset up. So they need to make sure they don't lose anyone else right now, as they do finally get the members coming back. Happy's dead again.
Yeah, taken down now. Turret going to be gone as well. See if he wants to just go ahead and swap off that right now. You would expect him to try to get back into the fight even faster. Dynasty are ticking up on the point very swiftly here. Zimba pushes forward with the Hanzo. Double sniper setup. He's just going to be lobbed out, trying to get those ricochets off the walls to soften up the members of Dynasty so they can finally push forward. They hold Nero up into the air, and Illicit is ready. Gets the rocket hit. They take him down. Hoppa, there's just the final one, but the point nearly capped. It seems like they will have it, just a matter of time effectively for the Dynasty. With a very healthy time bank as the barrage rains down from above.
Now remember, they used this comp on Control, or sorry, not this comp, but this roster on Control, and there was a possibility Guangzhou would run DPS heroes, maybe the Pharah potentially. It's happened before on Oasis. So I think that was the safety pick for them. They ended up doing the 3-3 mirror, which wasn't as clean, but now you could see you know, this composition for Dynasty is so well catered to what the Charge are doing. That's why we don't see subs. They expected that Charge would run something like this. They're swapping it up a little bit, putting Happy on the Bastion, and Seoul is just going to put Munchkin back on Zarya. We're going to see complete flips here.
Kind of like the mental gymnastics right there. Making sure that Dynasty was going to be swapping off of the Hanzo, given how close the Dragon Strike was to being completed. But now they do have Happy set up. Nero's still going to be lopping out those nades. And now we'll have that Riptire online, so might just be able to shut down this initial push. As there's only the nano boost from Jaehong as far as the ults are concerned.
Ooh, look at this angle here for Nero. Very tough to deal with that without any sort of long-range damage. And he's got the Riptire.
Yep. We'll go ahead and draw that one out. They're going to have to try to find somebody to focus fire it, but there's not too many good targets, and that's going to be Nero going up with the 2K. But Munchkin is to find Happy, and Nero gets taken down while he was using that Riptire. Boop out from behind the shield, but his forward comes in. Munchkin gets Shu, kills himself off with the right click. Hotbutt just trying to stay in the mech, spams away with the left clicks, manages to get rid of Marvel, but loses Chara in the exchange. But it seems like, despite everything, they will be able to hold this off. Dynasty close to getting a tick, but unable to find it.
Yeah, they killed the DPSs of the Charge. There was a lot of damage there, but Hotball was able to buy a ton of time. He's Diva, right? So they had the spawn advantage. The Seoul Dynasty didn't get enough kills. 2 kills isn't enough to take on any hybrid, or excuse me, on any assault map, point B, unless you can continue to get those kills. So now they're getting closer to a Grav. There is no support ultimate to counter that, so that's what Seoul is really banking on here, in either this push or the next push, to get a 3-minute plus time bank. Nero has just got this great angle, and he's halfway to another Riptire off of it.
I mean, there's nothing really you can do to try to contest him. Jaehong taking a couple shots, otherwise it's Munchkin lobbing in right clicks.
And then you've got, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're Happy over here.
Dive comes in, Zarya bubble received for Marvel, but nearly goes down. They finally get rid of that immortality field. He's going to jump back in. Happy getting bursted back up. Primal Rage pop. Another Zarya bubble coming in. Bomb's going to be thrown down by Zumba. They're hugging the corner, trying to survive, but Rio's going to be taken down. Suddenly, things are looking very good for the Seoul Dynasty here on this push. Halfway to that first tick, Riptire going to be taken down. Jaehong snipes that one right out of the sky. And this could very well be it. Configuration tank is in for Happy, but he has to be able to kill people off. Chips them away. Marvel going to be taking a nap here for the moment. Now going to be woken up. Dives in. Immortality field onto Happy as they try to keep him alive, but they get rid of it. They get rid of him. Yeah, Matrix coming through, but not really a great target. They're trying to pump damage through that field. Get that extra bit of damage through. Marvel jumps back up, consistently taking naps. But it doesn't matter. He'll just go ahead and sleep his way through the cap on B.
Yep. I mean, there's only so much you could do with a Bastion composition. Once the Grav comes through, you could keep him in the Immortality field. You could burst heal him with Brigitte. You could toss in bio grenades, but there are limits. And eventually that Grav came through.
Yep. 3 minutes, 12 seconds on the clock here for the Dynasty. Let's see how the Charge fare on their attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Guangzhou Charge getting ready to go on their attack here on Paris. Seoul Dynasty able to cap both A and B with 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining.
And here's where things get really interesting for this map, because yes, they ran the Bastion, they ran the Junkrat, Orisa, Torb on defense, but when you think about Nero coming in, you think about the attack for Guangzhou Charge. How will they run that? You know, what composition? Will he be on the far? What sort of setup are we going to see to try to break what Seoul is running? Seoul doesn't get the opportunity to scout and then swap to the counter composition on defense. The attacker in this meta, and especially on Assault, has that advantage, which is kind of rare for esports in general, for the attacker to have that sort of inherent advantage. But you will see that Seoul is running the 3-3 composition because they don't know what Charge is running, and this is the safest response, especially because if they run something that counters the 3-3, it's probably not something that can snowball to a double cap. Charge starting to lock in those heroes, and it looks like, surprisingly, at least for the outset, it's going to be Reinhardt Zarya.
Yep, with Hotpa on the Sombra here. Nero on that Zarya and Happy on the Brig. Hotpa jumps back, and we will just see the swap for the Diva. Yep.
Yeah.
Knows that they need it. Just have to go toe-to-toe with that 3-3.
Shu's going to go to the Ana as well, which will match Jaehong on his iconic hero here. It's going to be all about potential with the bio grenades for those two heroes. And Rio's going over actually to the Winston, so I've taken a page out of the book of the teams we saw earlier today. Philadelphia Fusion running a lot of Winston here.
Yep. Oh, Munchkin holds up energy very quickly. Has a nice topside angle onto Rio, but instead wants to focus on the front line, try to chip away at them as they start to advance. Get that grab online as quickly as he possibly can. Nero just going to be a little bit further behind. Sleep Dart connects on the Happy, but they manage to wake him up. So straight back into the fight, offering up that passive healing as he just swings away. Dry has to drop down. Heal deny onto the Lucio. Absolutely crucial, but Jaehong as well. Heal deny, but the bubble comes in from Munchkin to try to save him. Bubble reach out from Rio. Yeah, gets that swing in. Does manage to take him down. So far, it's going to be a 2-for-2. Now a 3-for-2 in favor of the Seoul Dynasty. The beat coming in from Jexay manages to help them win that fight.
Hotba gets demec'd here as well, and that is going to be a massive delay. What a huge turnaround. So many resources burned on trying to kill Jaehong. Even though he did die, Munchkin got so much energy off of that, and so many cooldowns were wasted, and they're able to turn the fight around. Zarya is such a cool hero like that, where you can, take your opponent's damage and turn it against them, and also waste their cooldowns, waste their attempted crowd control, their stuns. They've got the high ground again. No grab, of course, this time, and Charge do have the ult advantage here.
Jaehong actually taking a nap. Shu able to land that dart. A little bit less healing going through at the moment, but members of Dynasty were taking too much to begin with. Nano thrown down onto Rio as he tries desperately to survive. He's a little ways away from that Primal Rage. In the meantime, Marvel has his rolling. Made his way into the back line, but as it expires, jumps back over to join with the rest of the squad. They finish off Rio. Seoul Dynasty, they keep a firm grip on point A so far. Another pop out onto Hotpa. This time, they have a little bit of mercy. They will go ahead and finish him off instantly.
They try to use Rio to open up a space for Nero to use the Graviton Surge, but again, the defending Winston always has the advantage versus the attacking Winston, and they weren't able to use, the dive coming through to get Nero into a place where he could comfortably grab. And remember, there's no answer to the Graviton Surge.
Says hello, but Munchkin's like, okay, maybe it's a little bit too many. Now goes ahead, slams down the Graviton Surge. Bomb is into the back, but Simba unable to come up with any kills. Illicit swinging away, manages to take down Nero. Still positive moves for Seoul Dynasty. You heard it right then. 60 seconds remaining. Clock really training down. Marvel trying to knock somebody away from that spawn room to get an extra stagger. Unable to do so, but still, the damage is done. Only a Primal Rage and a Nano on the way here for the Guangzhou Charge.
And they were surprised by the Munchkin flank there. They got caught in the choke. They got the opening kill that Seoul Dynasty did. But Nero also used his Graviton Surge, and that was the tool that they needed before Jexay had Sound Barrier, because there's no Transcendence, and, it's just, they don't have any tools to really open this up right now. Opening with a pick would be their best option. Easier said than done. They've got the Nano, and Rio can live forever, but will he be able to kill anyone?
Yeah, well, let's find out. Jumps up the top, they try to push him away. Taking a little bit of damage as Marvel was sitting up above him. Stun comes through, but now the beat's gonna hit from Jexay. Keeping everybody topped up for the moment. Happy going lower and lower. The heal deny coming out from Jaehong helps take him down. Marvel is gonna be Goomba stomping Nero. And now Shu eliminated Chara all alone in the back, trying to get the cap coming in at about halfway there, but now the grab will seal the deal. Seoul Dynasty, a firm defense leads to a full hold versus the Guangzhou Charge and a 2-0 lead in the series.
It really does put salt in the wound that we watched Rio's first-person view throughout that moment. He had the nano, he had primal, but he made almost zero impact on that last fight, despite both ultimates being used. Him spinning there in the grab, you know, I think says it all, as Seoul Dynasty take the 2-0 lead, 2-0 back-to-back. And it's another roster finding success.
We shut them out on Paris. We'll have to see what happens for the rest of the series when we see you guys on the other side of halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
My strength unleashed.
The Dynasty are trying to start off stage 3 with a perfect 2-0 week 1, and so far so good. It's all Seoul in this one. They're up 2-0 over the Charge at the break. What's up, everybody? Malik back again. We got Brandon Sideshow here at halftime. Guys, so far, Seoul Dynasty looking like how we expected them to be at the top of the Overwatch League, completely dominant, and Ryu Jae-hong, still the OG, still doing his thing.
Yeah, we saw that feature about Ryu Jae-hong and his career in the pre-show. If you guys didn't catch that, you got to go back and watch it. It was fantastic. And they all talked about how good he was on Ana, and we certainly saw that in the second map. But the guy is really finding his footing with a totally different roster as well.
Right. That's what makes it so interesting, honestly, is the fact that Seoul are opting to run so many of these, two different rosters as it stands right now. But, I mean, to go back to the original conversation about Jae-hong, this guy, what's phenomenal about his performance is how well he's able to perform despite being a veteran of the game. It's very rare to have somebody who's been playing Overwatch as long as he has still playing at the top of his game now. And he did fall off last year. You remember back then, you know, Seoul, they did not have a good performance. We were kind of saying, is this the end of Jae-hong, the end of his legacy?
Yeah, I thought this year would not be a good one for Jae-hong.
No, it really didn't. And he's turning up here today. He's still showing us that he has what it takes, you know, to be a top-level Zenyatta in the league, top-level flex support player.
I agree. Now, on the other side of things, we got the Guangzhou Charge, who, even though they haven't won a map, they look a lot better than they did before. Am I wrong in saying that they...
No, I agree, actually. I think I've been pleasantly surprised with Guangzhou Charge and the way that they've stepped up.
Yeah.
A couple of teams as well. Atlanta Reign, I think this break has really done them a lot of good.
I don't know about that. They didn't perform particularly well on Paris. I
Let's take a look at that.
particularly impressed with the Charge, honestly. I think that when you look
compared
at
to compared to stage 2.
Well, sure, compared to stage 2, but you can't just compare it to when you've had your worst stage and say any improvement from there is an improvement. I think Guangzhou had an opportunity to win
Is that not the definition of it?
No, because you have to also factor in stuff like strength of schedule, and the schedule so far has been really difficult for Guangzhou in stage 1 and stage 2. But here now, all of these games are winnable for Guangzhou, and they have to be in a position where they're making things closer than getting full held on Paris here. I mean, that wasn't a close map.
Right.
Was it?
No.
No.
I'm not arguing.
Were you
that,
impressed
really.
with
I'm arguing
Guangzhou
that
charge
they've
on
improved
Paris?
from stage 2. That's my argument.
Well, I mean, maybe just on the board.
You know me, I'm always pointing out the small victories. I mean, and they also do have Nero, who they've inserted into the lineup. Look like he
looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to gel. All right, so we've seen so many different looks from the Dynasty in this jam-packed roster that they have. So it really does both the question of who is Seoul's A-team? What is their strongest lineup?
It's really weird, actually. I mean, this was their starting lineup against the Mayhem, which we saw yesterday, and this is their starting lineup now. It's totally different. They have actually totally split their team in half. We've never seen that before from
So what is your argument with this, between these two lineups?
I would say, just judging from what they fielded, you would probably field what you consider to be your weaker roster against the Mayhem, because of the two, the Mayhem look like the weaker team
that makes
compared
sense.
to the Charge. But when you look at what's on the board here, I mean, I would have expected Michelle to be in whatever they consider to be the A team, and I would probably have considered Fleta to be whatever they would consider to be the A
and
team
Fisher as well. Like you can
Maybe
make an
not
argument for
Fisher. I'd say there's an argument for running Marvel over Fisher.
Right.
He kind of fits within the team system a bit better.
Okay, well, my argument would be that I don't think that there's a difference in skill between the two rosters. I think it's stylistic choices and how they match up against certain teams. I think that the one side, you got Fisher over here, he plays this sort of this risky play style. It's all built around him, whereas this one we're seeing here, it's a lot more safe, a lot more consistent in a lot of the triple tank, triple support lineups, in a lot of the fights they have against different teams. And again, it comes down to what we were talking about in the pre-show. It comes down to what Seoul want to run at the time. It feels like they're getting their footing and finding the 6 core members that they want to work with.
Any chance we see a blend of these two lineups at all?
I think so. I
happen,
think you will see a blend moving forwards. I think they need to solidify a 6-man roster if they really want to win eventually, and it will be some combination. I mean, people have swapped over roles as well. Like Fleta, for example, has gone from being a Zarya to a Brigitte. Same on the other side. They've had players that are swapping over roles, so I think you'll see a blend eventually.
All right, very interesting. All right, guys, the Seoul Dynasty are currently up 2-0 and need one more map to pull off a 2-0 start to this stage. Can the Guangzhou Charge come back and prevent them from doing that? We're going to find out in just a bit. Stay tuned.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're halfway through this series. Seoul Dynasty currently leading 2-0 after taking our first two maps. Oasis and Paris going their way after a full hold there on the ladder. So really good stuff from them. Charge have been putting up a fight overall, but a little bit less so on Assault. Now we have to see how they fare on Hybrid as we get ready to move into Hollywood.
I think the reason why they didn't do as well on Paris, part of the reason anyways, is because it played into what Seoul had been expecting, what they were predicting. That's why they ran this roster, because they're trying to counter what Charge normally does. And when we went into Control, they didn't. They played 3-3, and then when we went into Paris, it was like, okay, well, this is the matchups we were looking for. This is the roster we wanted to run overall against what you expect to see from Guangzhou Charge. You know Nero's going to probably be subbed in eventually. They're going to run some projectile DPS, and you're going to play a roster that's more versed at dealing with that.
We do have substitution coming through. Eileen going to be stepping back in for Nero, rejoining here on stage.
Yeah. And, you know, this is a swap that may mean that we're going back to 3-3 for Guangzhou Charge, but it could also mean that we're going into something like a Sombra or a Doomfist. And it is Hollywood, so gotta expect 3-3 because this is one of the stronger maps for 3-3 out of all the hybrid maps in the current pool, as well as we have seen some success with the Sombra on this map, but, you know, it's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, well, Guangzhou Charge set up on the defense first. Will be running some DPS. Happy. Going to be on the Wrecking Ball. Eileen on the Sombra and Hotba back up in the skies.
This is a strong composition, but very rarely used on defensive Hollywood. It's been used as attack on Hollywood a lot, but again, this plays into the roster that Seoul built. They walk back into spawn and pick all the proper counters, and suddenly you're like, okay, well, Munchkin's on Widow. That makes sense. Marvel's always been a good Orisa. Illicit, projectile DPS, he can counter, and Zumba has always been the flex Hanzo. So this roster is built to counter Guangzhou Charge. A team, B team, C team, doesn't matter. This is a counter.
Well, looking for the res, but it's going to cost Chara his life. Standing still like that means that you're a very easy target for Munchkin, who scoops up another kill there. Zumba will be taken down by Hotba. The damage has been done here on the point. He'll just push out, trying to get as much damage in as he possibly can, but expecting to see the swap. We already see Happy over onto the break, so Guangzhou Charge going to have to change things up. Dynasty, a very healthy time bank, 5.5 minutes coming through for them as they cap A.
And I can't fully fathom why the Charge thought running that on defense was going to find success. Just, you know, we just discussed a lot about the attacker's advantage. It's so huge in this meta. They just countered, then they could swap after they take A. You've got no ult advantage, you've got nothing to speak of outside of Eileen's EMP charge. And this is a more open map where it's a little bit tougher to use that to full success.
Well, they see Eileen, they run straight past him and go for the majority of the Charge squad. Cart being brought up at the moment, just buying a little bit of space. Oh, the sleep dart!
That's all you need, it's J-Hong!
Oh boy, now just gonna be looking for an armor pack coming through, but the pin is there for Marvel. They take him down. J-Hong,
Who needs trance for Sombra when you've got sleeps?
There's another one. Now Rio taking a nap. They kind of botched the charge a little bit there from Marvel, so Rio will get out scot-free overall. But look how much space has been bought here.
Look at how little ult charge Jexay has because they're not doing any damage to the Dynasty right now.
All right, EMP's ready.
Yeah, this should be a big one unless he gets slept again.
Okay, well, doesn't manage to find it. J-Hong himself will be hacked out. Marvel going to be taken down at the start of the fight. Follows up for a double kill with a fire strike, so Charge will be able to gain control of the cart for a little bit here.
You could hear the sleep dart whiz past. You know, you could hear that sound effect. J-Hong did attempt the sleep, and that's your best bet against the EMP. Otherwise, you could try to nano boost something like the Reinhardt or the Zarya to try to outlast the EMP. He slept now, again.
Yep.
And bio-grenaded at range. Look at where he is, too. He slept above. J-Hong doesn't miss anything. But the cart is still rolling. They're going to need another EMP, and being slept when you're trying to build ult charge means that you're only at 20% when you want to be at 50.
Well, the grab is available now for Hotba. Will be using his in response. Marvel trying to charge him to get a pin kill. It's going to be caught up there by the black hole. Nano boost thrown down onto Marvel. Shield bash comes in, sets up for the shatter. That's going to be a 3-man there for Rio. Clean up a couple kills as Jaehong and Marvel both get taken down. Rio survives, so back in control again. Here are the charge.
Yeah, the best place for Sombra on this map to be is on the high ground during the streets phase, then dropping down and building that ult charge. And when you're winning fights with shatters, you get that charge even faster. Then you operate around the point of B itself. That's where you've seen some of the most famous EMPs of this season in the 3-3 meta. And Eileen is again just going to look for a big one.
Yep.
They're going to go way out for this one.
Okay, goes ahead, throws that one in. Munchkin instantly going to be dropped. Eileen makes it out with his life. And they get some follow-up kills coming through.
Jaehong's made the swap over to the Zenyatta because the sleep darts, even though they were great at first, it's not enough of a good response for EMP in particular to really warrant staying on the hero, especially because the EMPs are really opening up these fights in such a way that you can't bio-grenade well in these fights either. You're only going to have so many nano boosts compared to the fast build time on the ultimate here for Eileen. So I like the swap. It's cost them a lot of time to stick with the Ana that long, but they're catching up in ultimates here.
Yeah, they drain them down. 2:15 on the clock now. Bomb up over the top. Eileen going to be taken out. Self-destruct not going to find any kills. It buys them a lot of space as the rest of the charge peel back behind point B here. High energy out for Hotbug. Manages to land the grab. The shatter comes through, and it's absolutely huge for the Seoul Dynasty. Sound barrier comes in hot, but then just before Chara can use his ultimate. That'll be the cleanup, and that will be point B going the way of Seoul Dynasty. Maybe even able to clean up a couple split spawns.
And the cherry,
look for it.
Yeah, and the cherry on top of all of this is that they did it before Jaehong had Trance ready. He's got it ready now. And there's not a whole lot that's going to stop this push right now until Eileen builds an EMP. And even when he has it, Jaehong has the answer. So this is going to be a tough defense for the charge. And, you know, Eileen's not known for great diva plays picked here by a diva. Meanwhile, he's trying to build that charge. But he, you know, and many teams would swap off the Sombra right here because you know you're not going to get value of this next EMP. At least you shouldn't, unless you can catch Jaehong. But he's not easily caught, as we all know.
Doesn't have to track two supports, just the one. As the sound barrier was used in that last fight.
See,
sneaking around up top.
He's looking for Jaehong if he can hit him.
Sees Jexay over on the side.
He's not shooting because he doesn't want to reveal. He just wants to tick it up. There he goes.
Drops down, goes in for the hack. A little bit of damage, has to leap out of there.
Couldn't find Jaehong there with the EMP.
Rally's going to be out. Zimba has to use the self-destruct to try to make it back into the mech, but will be denied by Shoot. But Jaehong makes him regret that decision. Manages to take him out. Triple hack coming through in the back of the EMP leads into the shatter from Rio. Marvel going to get pinned, but responds with a shatter of his own. Knocks him to the ground, takes out Happy. Char with a sliver of HP is surviving here for the moment, but Marvel swinging away like a madman, just cleans up kill after kill, and they will be able to roll into the finish here on Hollywood.
It's Jaehong again and again. Eileen's trying to find value out of this EMP, but he cannot do it. He cannot find a way to shut down this push, and it's time and time again Seoul Dynasty are getting the better end of these team fights and the better end of compositions. They took A with a counter comp, and this is the correct roster.
Going to be looking for a strong push here are the charge. 151, the time to beat. We'll see if they can do it when we come back to their half.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Exceeding expected combat value. We still need to stop this provide. Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute and 51 seconds, the time to beat for the Chargers as they get ready to go on their attack here in Hollywood. They drained down the time bank significantly. Think back, it was 5.5 minutes to start for the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, after that first cap, where they were able to, scout and then build the right appropriate counter to the defensive setup there off the charge. They had that time bank. There were some issues when Jaehyung was sticking with the Ana, right? He got the first kill on Eileen, but then the EMPs were pretty impactful, and they needed a change. They took that fight on B without the trance, and the things just kind of snowballed out of control from there. For the Dynasty, they are going to run the 3-3, which is not exactly what this lineup, this roster is designed to do. But they're competent enough at it that they can at least, show up Guangzhou Charges 3-3, which is, again, somewhat rare for them also. So, Charge are going to put Eileen back on the Sombra. And this is a composition that can work very well on A, as long as you don't get caught as the Sombra. Because there's a lot of chokes where you will get revealed. He's going to actually go hack that Mega Pack, you have to imagine.
Well, so
just
far,
going to skip it.
Yeah, just wants to get into the back and start farming up for that EMP. Hasn't found much of a position for it yet. Still just going to be slow going for the moment.
Yep. Zumba found him. He's just not able to build a ton of EMP charge. Now he's starting to really lead up.
Yep. Shots still just coming down here from Munchkin. Hasn't been able to build up any energy though, so not doing any meaningful damage, lobbing in these right clicks.
Look at Eileen again, another clip, but he's caught and stunned, and that's the big problem.
It's looking like maybe a bit of a rough drop down there from Munchkin, but the rest of the team comes in from behind to back him up, and they manage to find 2 kills for it.
The big problem with running Sombra on this map is that you've got the... see where everyone is kind of hiding down around here with Seoul? You've got that one room where he was trying to hide in, but he got stunned there. All these small, narrow choke points makes it really easy for Illicit to get shield bashes and kill you, or you get revealed by Zumba. Eileen is close to the EMP now, but it's taken him way longer than you would see on a different map.
Gonna get the hack again, and just get a lot of damage in onto Zumba, but has to jump out. The prime target is well in front of him with Illicit. Knows that if that shield bash comes through, he's gonna be taken down. That's gonna be that EMP coming through, but Jaehyung on the money with a Transcendence. Everybody alive.
Not to mention that Shu died in this fight. It was a forced EMP. Eileen was not in position to use it, and when Shu was caught out, he thought maybe the EMP would turn the fight, or perhaps that the EMP might save Shu with the hacks coming through at that instant. But it was ill-timed. It took him so long to build it. He worked so hard to get it, and it all goes bad. Jexay is now going to have Sound Barrier up too, so Hoppa's Grav not necessarily going to find much of anything, especially because he's going to have to use it against the high ground position. They don't have a Diva to knock Seoul Dynasty off the high ground either, so there's just problems after problems for the Charge here without that EMP, which is what this comp is built around.
Pushing their way forward. It's going to be the grab coming out first from Munchkin. Hoppa still holding on to his own. Shu uses the Transcendence. For now, they go ahead and peel back. Jaehyung getting closer and closer to that next one here. 65% built up, and they're still holding on to the sound barrier.
And even though they counter the grab with a chance, they can't take a positional advantage. They just have to roll in.
Rally now out from Happy. Grab comes in, manages to find Munchkin. Shatter out. Going to be able to find one. Marvel going to be taken down. Rio needs to charge that first kill to try to break open point A. They try to take their way up. Jaehyung going to be taken down. Seems like this might just be the cap coming through now for the Charge. And finally broken down the defenses of the Seoul Dynasty. Will be able to get this. Time bank not going to be as strong. But if they can have a very strong push through the Streets phase, they can compensate and potentially finish with a similar, if not better, time bank.
Certainly possible. That was all Hoppa, by the way. He made that Solar Grav happen. Not only did he pull Munchkin away, so removing a lot of the damage, but he pulled him away from Jexay. He did not get hit by that sound barrier. And even if he were, he would not going to be saved, in that situation. It's a really nice solo grab there.
Back through on the Jaehyung. Good reaction from Zumba, though, to get that Defense Matrix up to save him. And Jexay, oh man, this is going on a tear right here. Scoops up a double kill. Nothing but the 3 supports in the kill feed for now, Guangzhou. Losing control of the card instantly.
That was a pretty easy fight to make the call to take because you know that EMP is ready. You want to take a fight as far forward as possible. You know Jaehyung has trance, so you've got that backup. And look at how fearless Munchkin is right now. He's looking for Jaehyung once again, but he's hiding.
Pushing forward, EMP comes down. Jaehyung again has the Transcendence ready to go. Continues to counter these out. Shatter, however, knocks a few to the ground, but the kills aren't there. They can't push far enough forward. Trying to take down the members of the Seoul Dynasty. Shatter out from Marvel. Manages to find Happy. They eliminate him with a rally ready to go and shoot. Uses the Transcendence in this fight. Munchkin now going to be able to get a grab online, potentially before they have any defensive ultimates here on the side of the charge.
A lot being used here for the Seoul Dynasty, but they are cleaning up this fight. It's crazy to see Jaehyung hit those trances too, because those are the moments where Eileen is in line of sight with EMP on top of him, but he's just pressing it so fast. As soon as he hears the sound line, he's hitting it. And sometimes that'll cost you if it's a fake EMP where you hear the translocator and the EMP doesn't actually come out, but Jaehyung hits it again. And now they're going to back off. They've done what they wanted to do. They've accomplished the time stall here, and now that they don't have the ults to hold this choke, they're just going to back off and respect that Charge has that grab now.
Yep. Pretty much getting themselves a superior time bank, even if they do get the finish. Jexay managed to take down Chara here at the start as both grabs were used. Jaehyung, though, snipes Eileen, now Happy taken down as they push forward. Rio trying to match the charge, but it just leaves him susceptible. Gets eliminated either way, a lose-lose situation for him, and now Charge might just be held here at the gate. Just a minute remaining.
The idea for the Dynasty on that defense, too, is to try to eat the grab. That's why Zumba was positioned like that. The grab still goes off, but Seoul Dynasty commit the aggression, get that opening kill. EMP is not enough here. It's not enough to finish B. They're going to have to wipe twice. And look at the support ultimates. Like, how can you get value?
Speaking of which, one going to be coming through the armor, rolling in, helping to keep Jaehyung alive, even though he got clipped by that EMP this time around.
The counter to EMP's rally, apparently. He hits both support ults there, but the Illicit one goes through.
Makes it that much harder to kill. Munchkin going low in the back. Keeps himself safe. Marvel just to be waiting, playing around the corner. Drops the hammer. Manages to find Eileen. That's the target they wanted. Get rid of that pesky Sombra. Entering Shatter in. Catches both supports. And now Marvel's going to be taken out. Potential chance here for Charge to get that cart rolling. Illicit going to be eliminated as well. They will start inching forward, but Seoul Dynasty, they can reaggress. They can certainly still shut down this push. Charge has so far to go if they want to get more time in that bank.
Eileen needs to be harassing so hard right now. He's the only way I feel they could take B. He needs that EMP. The grab, there's 2 support ultimates ready for that. They didn't use them for the last EMP. He has to finish that ability. You know, he has to get to 100% of that EMP before they hit B, and then he has to use it in the fight. Without that, Seoul's just going to win this, and they're not going to give him time. They're just going in.
No, they're not charging straight out of the saloon. Grab's going to be coming down again, simultaneously used on either side. Dynasty, they halt the cart. Rally's ready. Illicit pops it. Happy getting matched on the other side. Rio taking a lot of damage done. Dump the pump from Zumba. Comes up with 2. EMP's out, but the beat from Jexay is good. The cleanup comes in. The OT plummets. And Seoul Dynasty, they take Hollywood. They take the set 3-0.
They knew that he was going to look to EMP, but he didn't have it ready. They were forcing the fight, essentially a 6v5 before it was ready. The self-destruct kills everyone before the EMP goes off, but Jexay still hits the barrier, just to remind everyone that even if it was a 6v6, he was ready. What a classy play from Seoul Dynasty.
Solid stuff. The match is theirs. Let's see if Guangzhou can put a win on the board when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
웃었지? 웃었으면 됐다. 가자.
아, 미안한데 승사 너랑
나 노래 부르면서 게임하자.
야, 내 옆에 이거 있는 거 어색한데? 아, 이거
나도 왼쪽
아, 저거
나 여기 대호 형 나 이 자리 딱 한 번밖에 안 남았거든. 옛날에 병선이가 풀보름 해가지고 위도 한번 했어. 기억나.
너무 아파 지용이 형.
아, 미안하다.
상범아 안 물어봤죠.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Did you catch all that? Did you fully understand? If not, don't worry. We'll got you
I
covered.
mean, it was just some banter about who was sitting next to him, and I actually didn't see it at the time, but it was definitely some jabs going in about one of his teammates, saying how awkward it was. But I didn't catch all of it myself there. Just getting ready to cast this next game, but you know, I gotta say, this is not a good look for the Charge. I mean, they are facing Seoul Dynasty's roster that has been built because there's 12 players on Seoul Dynasty, right? So you could think about it like they've got 6 and 6-2 rosters, but that's not how it is. Think about how many possible combinations of 6-man rosters you could make with those 12 players. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've built one to defeat the Charge here. They've done it. Looking at a game 4 here where they want to take that 4-0 like they did against Florida. But, God, you know, I got to say, like, you could see in the comms, they're all in good spirits. Jaeyoung's teasing his teammates, and for the Charge, you know, they're trying to run their style. It worked well against China. It worked well against, you know, Among and squad, but it's not working against the Dynasty. It will be Highly coming back in here for Jaehong.
Yeah, Highly going to be taken to the stage again. Jaehong getting some well-deserved rest, it would seem, after fantastic performance on that Ana and Zenyatta there on Hollywood. And Fleta as well, subbing in for Illicit, so changing up the mix even more. We saw Highly and Illicit alongside, you know, Fisher, but now he's there with Zumba, with Marvel, so they continue to mix and match.
Yeah, so Fleta coming in here. We'll see how this all shakes down. There's been a lot of, you know, all the DPS players on this roster and main tank, flex tank players have kind of shifted around a little bit. So Fleta's played both the Brigida and the Zarya, but he's also played, you know, projectile DPS when the situation calls for it. So we'll see what exactly this looks like when we head into our escort map.
Yep, Dorado coming up, so still, you know, plenty of opportunities to have that projectile DPS coming through, whether it's a Hanzo or a Pharah. Skybox is quite high until you get to the end of the map, so definitely some potential to be seeing those DPS heroes coming out for either side. Still see some smiles there. Happy living up to his name. So not getting too disheartened in the series, it would seem. But again, it's about whether or not they can pick up a victory here in this last map to spare their blushes a little bit and help that map differential.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I kind of lean towards Charge looks a little bit improved, you know, to go back to the halftime show. But the context does matter, you know, like Sideshow was saying, strength of schedule, etc. The reality, though, is even though this is not as extreme as Florida or Valiant, they're still technically eligible for making it through play-ins and going to the... see, the Dynasty fans think this is going to be a 4-0, and rightly so. Well, there's still potential for Charge to make the season playoffs, right? But 6 and 9, you know, it needs to be improved play overall.
Yeah.
And even if they, you know, have lost this series today, I think that, you know, this style is somewhat predictable at this point.
Good opening damage coming out. Just weaken Highly. Makes him hesitate for a moment. Eileen, ooh, almost shield bash there by Fleta. Could not quite get that connection in time, but pushing forward, Simba nearly kills him off again. Eileen just being so slippery at the moment. Sitting at about 40% here. Cart rolling forward, though. Guangzhou Charge giving them some room as they just play back into the marketplace here around the fountain.
Well, for Eileen here, he's doing a lot better on this map. Obviously, a lot easier to build EMP here versus Hollywood. So this is a much faster setup for him to get that important ultimate online.
Yep, nearly has it now. Might even be enough to stop this push coming through. Catches 5 members. Marvel really taken down, will die right as he gets that Earth Shatter available. Rest of them going to be escaping, but still a 2-for-1 as Dynasty trade up. Now, looking to continue this push. Chara playing alone on the cart. Hotbug going to be taken out. So despite the EMP looking good, Charge, they just lose too many members. Not enough people can follow up on those hacks. And they just get point A with now 5+ minutes in the time bank.
Munchkin, you know, with the block there to keep Hylie alive when Eileen was looking for that follow-up pick there. Lots of really good stuff here for the Dynasty. They're just so well-versed against Sombra right now, and I can tell you guys right now, almost every Korean team is running pure Sombra in contenders. A lot of the scrim partners of the Dynasty are over there. A lot of Overwatch League teams running the Sombra. So, you know, it's no shock that they're well-versed at this. We know these players have dealt with it in the past. Jexay, one of the most famous Lucio's at shutting down EMP. Hylie as well on the Zenyatta. Not to mention what we just saw from Jaehong last game. So, no explanations needed as to why this is, even though it's a great strategy for the charge, being shut down so well by Dynasty.
Well, we thank you for the explanation all the same, Wolf. Grab's going to be ready, but first it's going to be Munchkin striking first, and now Chara taken down. Transcendence healing just not enough. Shatter comes in from Marvel, knocks Rio to the ground. Marvel will die for it, but they continue to trade up. Grab invested by the Guangzhou charge. The Transcendence is there from Hylie to keep everybody topped up. They might just be able to cruise straight into B. Happy melted down. The beat just a second too late. Is not able to save that brig. Bomb up over the top, unable to find anything. Super makes it back into the back for now, and actually Guangzhou charge will be able to stabilize, it seems. Chasing forward, looking for some additional staggers, but Eileen's got to back out as he hits 7 HP.
So Eileen has the EMP, didn't have to use it. And, you know, we talked about, or I talked about just briefly, Jexay is one of the greatest EMP shutter downers that Korea's ever seen with a sound barrier. But now he's going to have to prove it. Eileen's looking for this.
Only been caught a couple times today.
I mean, this is point B if this EMP gets shut down.
You would expect, unless they can really outplay them for the rest of the fight.
He's caught.
Coming in, and he will get hacked out. Nicely done there by Eileen, catching him off guard.
You can see in the picture-in-picture where he was set up to try to hide, but Eileen tracked him down, and all you need is to hit the Lucio and a member or two else, and that's all that you have to have when you know that Hylie doesn't have Transcendence.
Yep, and oh man, Hylie getting picked off. Hotba coming up with the kill.
He was getting greedy there, trying to build the last part of that Transcendence. And as we talked about in the Florida match, Hylie's known to peak on the Zenyatta, even when his team is dead. It takes a lot of risks. Sometimes pays off, sometimes you die, stagger your team, cost them a little bit of extra time bank here, and that's the case that we have for the Seoul Dynasty right now. Eileen also playing pretty passive. He's not going really far looking for ult charge. So I know they've got such a nice setup here on the high ground.
Hack on the Munchkin, can't use that grab. Are very well aware that he has it now. Beat's going to be coming out as they push forward. Shoot, use of the Transcendence, runs the grab, hits the rest of the team, keeping them all alive for now. Marvel, Shatter goes straight into Rio's shield. He's going to get shield bashed. Was meant to stay alive. So we see the answering Transcendence come out from Hylie, but Hotba still holding onto a grab his own. Eileen goes in, using the EMP, catches 4 members, but instantly gets dropped by Zumba.
Absolutely absurd. They're able to win this fight.
So a grab onto Jexay, but now Marvel going to be taken down as well. A bomb from Zumba, managed to find Chara now. Hotba eliminated. The damage dealer from the side of the charge going to get dropped, and Rio falls as well. That will be the cart pushing forward here. The 3:20 on the clock for the final stretch.
That's absolutely absurd that they made that work. Leading with the sound barrier there during Munchkin's hacked moment where he's unable to drop the grab, unable to use his barriers, comes through. Jexay makes the call to drop the grab. They deal with the EMP. By all rights, Guangzhou Charge had every advantage, and Seoul Dynasty dealt with them piece by piece. And Hoppa with no Graviton Surge, they're going to have to work on building the EMP, and all the while, the cart keeps rolling.
Yep. It's going to be a wraparound from the backside, drop down in behind them. Munchkin's going to build up that energy. The sound barrier going to be coming through. Fleta already going to be taken out. You can see Seoul Dynasty calling the retreat, just trying to make it out with as many lives as they possibly can.
They were able to force the sound barrier, so that's a great trade for them in terms of ultimates. But for the charge, ultimately, they retake control of the map. They have the ability now to have Eileen build that last part of the EMP. Knows how difficult it is out here to shut down the Sombra because she's got so much open space versus closed spaces in terms of building the charge. Then chokes are where the EMP is going to thrive because you can't avoid it.
He's going to have to try to nail Hylie with that EMP. You can see him trailing directly behind the Zenyatta. Grab to come out from Munchkin, start things off. EMP thrown down Hylie. Perfect timing as well. Does manage to keep himself safe. The Transcendence coming through. So everybody topped up, and they even get the Shatter for free from Rio. Marvel answering back with one of his own. Looks like it goes straight into the shield, however, so doesn't find any stuns, but does create space for them again to continue advancing. Marvel thinking of beating the barrier, nearly destroyed. Slightly cut off from the rest of his squad, but Zumba finds Eileen again. Shuts him down. Grab coming out. Hotba. High energy here. The bomb from Zumba. Unable to find anything. Makes it back into the mech successfully. But Jackson going to be taken down. But Highly picks up 2. Trying to put them across the finish line. Happy now going to be taken down. Chara alone in the cart. Going to be beamed down. And that will be the finish here on Dorado for the Seoul Dynasty.
Very nicely done. And Seoul Dynasty just keep shutting down Eileen's EMPs. And they're not making it easy for him to build it either. The protection we're seeing from Zumba, scouting him down, hounding him down, forcing him to translocate means he's building EMP slower. And from the beginning of this season of the Overwatch League, Eileen has been playing Sombra. You know, he and Ding at the very beginning were the two playing it the most. He's a very good Sombra player. This is a strong Sombra team that has experience with, you know, this roster. This is not with Nero. This is not any sort of synergy problem. This is not an off day for the Guangzhou Charge. They came in prepared for Sombra. They came in prepared for some DPS compositions. And Seoul is just dealing with it very well. I mean, that is... You can't speak ill of the Charge. You can't say that Eileen's EMPs are bad or that he's getting caught or that he's overextending. That's not true. The truth is Seoul Dynasty is playing so well against what Charge have prepared. They've also, you know, brought out a 6-man roster that's good against it on the maps that mattered on. And it's rough, you know. Hoppa's face says it all. This is not how they prepared for this match. This is not how the scrims went. But what I will tell you is that right there, what you see on your screen at the top right, Eileen on the Brigida, is a symbol of defeat. I mean, we cannot run this Sombra. It is not working. We're going to put you back on the Brigida, and let's hope for the best.
I could swap it here in the last few seconds. We'll see. But as you say, if this is going to be the case, then it's a telltale for, you know, how Charge thought this was going to go and how the reality really turned out to be for them. So it seems like he is going to be pushing forward. Marvel playing on the low ground aggressively. Surround that corner. We've seen this fight teams in the rear from time to time. But now still trying to posture in this position. 3 shots from Zumba up on the high ground already. 50%. Now he's got a very large hitbox and hotbar right up in front of him. Marvel going to get stunned up. The bubble from Munchkin not going to be enough. And now he's put himself in a very poor position as he tries to escape. Happy chasing up on him if he gets the armor pack in time to stay alive, but Zumba's going to be taken down. Front line broken. Seoul Dynasty going to have to regroup and try to contest here at A.
Yeah, challenging Hoppa was not the right move. You pointed it out early in that fight, but that's really what caused them so many problems. Once you have to fly your Diva away, that means there's so much extra damage coming from the opposing Diva onto your tank line. Marvel gets caught. This is a great push for the Charge already.
Yep, work their way into the marketplace here with relative ease. Shoot nearly with that Transcendence. Highly going to be matching him. Rio taking a lot of damage. He'll get top back up. Try knocked down to half. Eileen just going to be eliminated. Munchkin pushes forward, manages to find that kill, and Happy. The rest of the squad have to wrap back around the high ground to drop down as to get themselves out safely.
The Dynasty about to have 5 ultimates online. Soon to be 6. They're going to have the high ground as well. For the Charge having to go all the way back to spawn, this is the worst feeling ever on Dorado A, where you have to go through the high ground again, then you have to snake around this Z-shaped path while you're eating damage from the high ground the whole way, while losing time on the clock. Can't trans early to go through this choke either, and there's always the threat of a grab happening right here. But the Dynasty are going to play back instead. They want to take the fight right at the contest point itself.
Grab coming out. Happy going to get clawed out. Transcendence from Shoot keeps him alive. Chara nearly with the beat. Might be able to win this fight. Jexay under some fire. Will get taken down by Hoppa. The bomb at the back. However, going to be able to find Eileen. 1 for 1. Shatter coming through. Hotba gets rid of Highly. And now with Marvel taken down, Charge will be able to break through and cap onto A.
There you go. And it's ironic in a lot of ways that the comps that we've seen from the Charge, what they prepared and what Seoul also prepared to try to counter, haven't found success, right? The, you know, Eileen, Sombra, not so great. The Bastion, etc. we saw in Paris. It's the 3-3 that we didn't expect, that Seoul Dynasty didn't expect, that's given the Charge the most success. Very close map of Oasis on Control, and now here on Escort, when they've put Eileen back on the Brigida, that's when they're actually having more success.
Drop down here from Chara, coming in from above. Just trying to displace as much as possible. Marvel says, well, thank you very much. That'll be my go button. Start swinging away over here in front of the cart. Doesn't find many targets, so we'll just go ahead and peel back. Playing Coming around the corner now. Both of these rides pretty far away from those Earth Shatters, just a little over halfway on either. Rallies out from Eileen, the beat coming through, having to be used by Jexay to try to keep Marvel alive. Fire Strike comes in, matched beat from Shara here. The shoot tries to track Jexay along the wall, but can't quite finish off that enemy Lucio.
Nice escape there by Jexay. Well, the cart's still rolling, and the Guangzhou Charge have a window here to grab. They're going to get grabbed first.
Yep, Munchkin uses that one. Shu has that Transcendence ready to go. Highly is 5% away from one of his own. Now the grab comes in. Instantly uses that Transcendence, keeps everybody alive. We have a bit of a stalemate in the fight. No one going down on either side. Cart continuing to inch forward, however.
It's a win for the Dynasty overall, though, with the position they have here around the corner. There's the bomb first. Does not nudge it down like he wanted to.
Yeah, lands right there on the high ground and can't push it off the top. So a bit of a botch there from Zimba. Forgive him, it's been a while since he's been playing. Hoppa into the back, however, and it's to find Munchkin. That's going to be the opening they're looking for, but they're trading it back a little bit as Shu and Char both get taken down, so no supports in the fight other than Eileen. And now, front line will be eliminated. Seoul Dynasty cleaning them up just 1.5 meters away from B. We'll be able to drain them down below 2 minutes.
Jexay just playing so well, too, up on the high ground, adding that extra damage and threatening a cutoff of the main tanks. The tank line, I should say, the Reinhardt in particular is what they're looking for, but any of the tanks, if we can catch them and allow Dynasty to focus them down, catch Eileen, that's what he's looking for, and he's positioned so well, so consistently.
Well, back into the mech now, Zimba just in time for the rest of the fight. Marvel gets stunned, takes a bit of damage. Shatters online for Rio, looking for that setup. Moves over to the side, but it's not going to be able to find anything. Transcendence out from Hailey. Happy getting picked by Munchkin, who will soon have that Graviton Surge online. Shu has the Transcendence, however, so the answer is there for the Guangzhou Charge, but they're losing out on time. They're having members be staggered. They need to get across into B, and they need to do it now, or else they're going to have a worse time bank, if not finish in OT.
This is the hardest part of Dorado, when you get held here and your opponent constantly has this high ground, this bridge, this catwalk, whatever you want to call it, that's over a small archway, and you have long runbacks to the cart. Every time you die, your opponent has spawn advantage. This is the toughest point to break, and it's tough they got caught here. Munchin's got the grab. They're going to try to sneak around, but they are spotted.
It's going to be 5-4 as far as the ultimates are concerned. As the self-destruct and beat come up for charge. Rally nearly there for Fleta. Wrapping around to the back. See them hesitant to push out that doorway, and for good reason. They take a lot of damage, but now Transcendence coming in. Response to the Graviton Surge. Beat coming through. So far for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and no one's going to be eliminated yet. Graviton now coming in for Happy. Bomb out from Zimba to try to buy them some space. Will be able to claim the enemy Zarya, but not before Jexay gets taken down by him. Both rides hitting the ground, but only Marvel stands back up. They get rid of Rio. The Fire Strike is good. Gets rid of Eileen, and suddenly there's just 13 seconds left to go with Shu taken down and Hoppa with a sliver of HP.
That's the bomb they needed. Zumba's bomb connects to kill Happy. Without the DPS, they can't make it through. Char's going to tag.
It's coming around from the back. They boop him away. They're looking for the kill, and they will have it. He cannot force out overtime. And Seoul Dynasty, they will come up with another victory here in Stage 3, their second in a row, 4-0 over Guangzhou Charge.
And very one-sided at that. Only 2 points total for Guangzhou Charge in this series. And it's a smart strategy. Remember, they had to prepare this on the fly very, very quickly because they just played 2 days ago, and they built 2 completely different rosters for their opponents' playstyles, and Seoul Dynasty is really starting to make this work. It felt like experimentation at first, but now it's starting to feel like mastery of where to put the proper players in these 6-man rosters, you know? And you could really feel that success. I feel almost more so in this series than you did with the roster they were running against Florida. And it's a terrifying thing going into this season where Seoul has a schedule that they could certainly find themselves in, you know, top 4 position with heading into Stage 3 playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to take a look and see what that does to the standings. With that extra victory coming through for the Seoul Dynasty, now in 8th place with that plus 13 map differential. Just need to get a couple more wins in to try to break through into that top 6 spot.
Look at the difference between them and Spark with those plus 8 maps they just got.
Yeah.
Plus 13 to -1 with 1 additional loss on top of it. That is insane.
I mean, very nice to see here for the Seoul Dynasty. Looking quite good. Go ahead and take a look at the rest of their schedule here for this stage. So double 4-0s. Next, going up against the Reign. They might have been feeling a little lazy about that one, but given how we've seen the Reign perform in their last two series versus the Shock and now Vancouver just earlier today, that is going to be a formidable opponent. Then they have the Shock, Spark, and then Eternal and Hunters to round it out.
So it's an easy start, but then it ramps up to Reign and Shock, and those are the hardest two they're going to get, and then it does kind of drop back down. I do wonder what they will bring versus Atlanta, because Atlanta's kind of this team right now. It's really inconsistent, but can perform with the best. So what they think Atlanta's strengths are and how they want to counter that with their 12-man roster,
yeah,
I'm hoping to see some fireworks.
I mean, it's really three solid matches because Spark as well looked very clean today so far. So we'll have to see how Seoul is going to perform throughout the rest of the stage and whether or not they can make it back into the playoffs after missing out in stage 2. It's been some very solid stuff for them so far, so looking forward to seeing more. But we're not done yet, guys. We have one more match coming up to... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just getting way ahead of myself. We got player of the match. What am I doing? Presented by Omen by HP. It's Munchkin. The man was on fire. I'm sorry, Munchkin. Take your moment.
Munchkin has his moment here, of course. But look, Munchkin had some questionable Zarya throughout the season. He looked good in this match against the Charge, but more than just the Zarya, he came out on the Widow as well, on Hollywood, which was exactly what they wanted to run him over Fitz, because Fitz has been the most consistent Zarya of the three they've run with him and Fleta. They ran him because they knew that there was a possibility he'd need Widow on any of these maps, and he came up big when they needed him to on Hollywood. And Munchkin, you know, somewhat inconsistent throughout his career, but today he gets player of the match.
Yeah, looking quite good. We didn't quite get this, the Zumba Zarya that you were asking for, that I was asking for at the beginning of it all, but we still got some solid performances from everybody. We got some change-ups on the roster as well, with Hiley coming back in, with Fleta subbing in for Illicit. So again, it's good to see the fluidity of this roster, the Seoul Dynasty. Just the question is whether or not they're going to be